Hi, really lovely to meet you. You are probably watching this movie because you are going to attend a cacao ceremony with me, one of our women's circles perhaps. And I'm looking really much forward to meet you. So I wanted to use this movie to let you know a bit more about who I am and what my background is. My name is Siri. I have been practicing nature-based spirituality since I was very young. I would say it was about 13, when I was about 12, 13 years old that my interest really started. But I grew up with a mother that introduced me to very many of the concepts of nature-based spirituality at an early age, even if we didn't call it the spirituality, but that was how we related to the world, relating to the world as if everything is alive. And I never really felt like I fit in a Christian kind of context. And when I was 12 years old or 13 years old, I found my way to all European nature-based spirituality, which is nowadays often named paganism or witchcraft. And I've been practicing that in different shapes ever since, which is now about 20 years. And this practice really deepened when I was about 19 years old. I've had a daily spiritual practice focused on my relationship with nature since I was 19 years old. And when I was in my early 20s, I lived out in the forest, and I also had started to track my menstrual cycle. And all of a sudden I realized that my menstrual cycle and the cycles in nature around me were really, really similar. And this awoke a deep, deep passion in me to understand both my own menstrual cycle better and how I function through the menstrual cycle, and also to understand how I can tune in to the other cycles in nature in a deeper way. And this is what has been guiding my work ever since. I have one clinical side of my work. I'm a menstrual cycle health educator and counselor and a fertility awareness educator. Basically, I work with women all days long, teaching them how to track their menstrual cycle, to use that for natural birth control. I'm helping people who are suffering from infertility or menstrual cycle health issues, and so forth. That's kind of the clinical part of my work. That is also, it's clinical but holistic. And the other part of my work is the spiritual work that I'm doing together with me and other collaborations, where I help people tune in to the cycles of nature in this more intuitive, spiritual, and embodied way. And that is what we are also doing in the women's circles that I'm hosting together with me. In addition to my work as a ceremonial space holder and my work with women, I'm also very engaged in the ecological and social healing movement. I've been active in permaculture since my early 20s, been very interested in that. When I was a couple of years ago, I became even more involved. In 2015, I took a permaculture design certificate course with one of my spiritual teachers that is called Starhawk. She's a really amazing woman that you should check out if you don't already know her. And after that, I became engaged in the permaculture movement in Norway. I was on the board of the Norwegian Permaculture Association for a while, and I've continued to, in different ways, engaging in this ecological healing movement. Most recently, before the Corona lockdown, I was running a monthly gathering known as New Story Hub in Oslo. That was gathering people around the topic of how we can live together on this planet in a healthy way that is healthy both for humans for all other life. And that really is in the core of my work. We are at this crossroad of civilization, and it all comes back to health, how we can care for ourselves, each other, and all living beings in a better way. And I'm deeply involved in that very complex network of all the factors that is needed to be healed and adjusted in order for us to be able to do that. I have worked very much with trauma healing, both in myself and also now starting to guide other people in that process, not as a therapist, but as a coach, and helping people finding true ways of healing their trauma, finding true and deep healing in different ways. So trauma, healing trauma in ourselves, psycho-emotional trauma, spiritual trauma, healing the way we are treating our bodies by what we eat and what we situate ourselves to, healing our relationships to other people, healing our relationship to the natural world, how we relate to the natural world, which very much come back to a spiritual connection, to our ability to feel the world and really deeply connect to the world. And I believe all of these factors are really important to be able to basically get ourselves out of the mess we're in on this planet. So that's my deepest motivation with the work that I'm doing, and my deepest joy. And to be able to do that in circles like the ones I host with me is such a deep, deep pleasure and deep, deep honor. And I'm so happy that you want to join us in this exploration of how we can heal ourselves, how we can heal our relationship to each other, how we can heal our relationship to the earth, so that we can find a way of living together on this beautiful planet where everything and everyone can thrive. So thank you for listening, and I look enormously much forward to meeting you in person soon. Until then, take really good care of yourself.